And our next topic today gets submitted to us by our viewer, Thomas Wriggle. And Thomas Wriggle writes, "Hey, John and Erin. I had to do a little bit, and obviously Erin's not here today, unfortunately. I had to do a little bit of a double take when I first read the headline, but apparently Shang-Chi is set to break the all-time Labor Day weekend box office record, even pre-pandemic. That is currently held by the Halloween remake at a $30 million opening. The current projection is that Shang-Chi will make 45 to 50 million opening weekend. How significant is this for the new Marvel movie?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, like we said off the top, it's Shang-Chi Day. It's game. I'm just so excited. You guys know me. Every day that I wake up knowing I'm going to the movie theater that day is a good day for me. I'm smiling all day, but it's a especially happy one for me because I love this movie. I can't wait to go back and see it again. This is going to be my 4th time seeing it, and I'm still as excited about seeing it as I was for my 2nd and 3rd viewings of it. Can't wait to watch this thing again. And yeah, you're right. This was a little bit of information that even I did not have my eyes on, which is that with a $45 to $50 million opening, and again, we have been through all the reasons I have said to you guys for weeks now why Shang-Chi is going to have a struggle at the box office, right? Just to recap, it's, we've obviously the big thing is the pandemic, which has made movies like Top Gun and Mission Impossible run away to 2022. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But number one, you got the pandemic, which is now far worse than it was with the Delta variant spikes than it was when Fast 9 or Black Widow came out. So it's going to be working against that. Number two, it's got no big name stars in it. Yes, if you're from China, you probably know the name Tony Leung, but the reality is that the biggest name in this movie, unlike some other MCU movies that have Benedict Cumberbatch, or has Chris Evans, or has Robert Downey Jr., or has Chris Hemsworth, or has Scarlett Johansson, the biggest name in this movie is Awkwafina, who is not a nobody, but that's your big name. So this is a movie that's working against a pandemic. It's got no big name recognizable stars. It's to a character most average movie viewers have never even heard of. Most average movie viewers have never even heard of Shang-Chi, which is understandable. It's a smaller character and all that kind of stuff. On top of all that, it has not been given your traditional MCU marketing budget. On top of all that, you've got Kevin Feige, who's been giving all the attention. The last 6 months, Kevin Feige's just been given all the attention to Eternals. Whenever Kevin Feige's been talking, it's been Eternals this, Eternals that, Eternals this, Eternals that. Everything's been about Eternals. And I don't blame him for that. He's very excited about Eternals, obviously, so that's great. But, he's obviously overlooked Black Widow a bit, and he's overlooking Shang-Chi a bit. And maybe Eternals is just that good. So whatever. So you've got this long laundry list of things that, for me, why I've been saying the last few weeks, as good as Shang-Chi is, this is a movie that has a very, very big uphill battle to fight when it comes to box office and getting the amount of people out to it that it deserves to have come out and watch it. With all that being understood, it was a little bit of a surprise to see that Shang-Chi right now is set not just to break a pandemic era weekend box office record, it is set to break, if it comes in at 45, like I've been saying I think it will, to break the all-time Labor Day weekend box office record. This comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant who write, "As with any big budget Marvel release, there is a great deal of hype surrounding Shang-Chi's release. Now, Deadline is reporting that the film is predicted to earn around $45 to $50 million in its opening weekend." And you guys know I've been saying 45 for a while, which would break their record for the highest earning film over a Labor Day weekend. Deadline also claims that some are predicting an even higher turnover for the superhero film. Still, considering how much the box office can fluctuate at the moment, it's hard to make an accurate prediction, so it's better to be conservative. So, yeah, the previous record for the Labor Day weekend has been the Halloween remake, making $30 million. that has got to be one of the most unimpressive opening weekend box office records in history. Right? It's not the all-time box office. It's the all-time Labor Day box office record. And so that sounds great. It sounds great to say Shang-Chi is going to break an all-time record. And it is. That's true. And that sounds great. Until you stop to consider that the previous record was $30 million. I mean, and that's fine. That's fine. But you know what? I'll take it. I'll take any little marketing gimmick that Shang-Chi can attach to its name right now. And if that is like saying, I mean, that's like saying, I don't know, saying you're about to break the all-time Labor Day weekend box office record is kind of like saying you are the world's deadliest martial artist out of any kindergarten students in the world. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal. So again, I still believe Shang-Chi is going to struggle at the box office. I do. It's going to be like, well, it's going to be like Suicide Squad, a movie that frankly deserves much, 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 much better. But it is what it is. The reality is the reality. And I hope Deadline is right. Deadline is saying that with the surge in the word of mouth and buzz and social media postings that it could exceed $55-60 million. And I hope it does. I really do. I really, really hope it does. But I'm still sticking around that $45 million range. I think it'll be a little bit of a hard time. But hey, if that makes it the all-time biggest Labor Day weekend box office in history, take it. Take that crown, Shang-Chi. Take that crown. And you wear that crown with pride, because I don't think it's going to have a lot of other box office numbers that it's going to get to hoot and holler about, but it is a great, guys, honestly, this movie's great. It's great. Go and see it. You may not, again, I've been saying this a lot lately. You may not like it as much as I do, because I'm over the moon about it. Like not a top 3 greatest comic book film of all time sort of thing, but I am over the moon about this movie. You may or may not feel as good about it as I do, but I feel very confident, very, very confident that you will at the least enjoy yourself. And what more can you ask for? So you may not walk out of this movie like me going, God, I can't wait to watch this 5 more times. That might not be you, and that's totally fine. But I feel very, very confident that you're at least going to walk out with a smile on your face going, yeah, that was good. I really feel good about that. So whatever it is you guys are doing, get on out and watch it. Go check it out. Go watch this film. Go enjoy yourself. And because I don't think I don't think the theaters are going to be packed. I don't think the theaters are going to be packed. So you should have a seat waiting for you. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about the fact that Shang-Chi, which is opening today in theaters near you, hopefully, is set to break the all-time Labor Day weekend box office record, even if it's not a very impressive record? Is that a good thing? Is that something they should kind of, boast about? Maybe it's something that should be ignored. I don't know. However you guys are feeling about it, jump down into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts.